Hey guys, this is Coach Steele, and you're here with Coach Steele's Finance Training. And I really want to talk to you all about high yield interest savings accounts and the importance of having that high yield interest savings account. So, as we look at this calculator, I want you to tune in and watch this. Let's say someone has about $10,000 in a regular savings account. So, if they have about $10,000 in their savings account, and let's say that savings account is making less than 1% interest. And usually most regular savings accounts, and what I would advise that you do is check with your bank and look online and look how much interest or dividends that you're making. And let's say you're making 1% or potentially less, average savings account making less than 1% interest. Well, of course, we know 1% of that $10,000 is $100. So you might make, about $100 that year on that savings account. But you have to remember, if you divide that by 12, then you'll know about how much interest you'll make monthly on that high yield interest savings account. So we divide it by 12 because it's 12 months in the year, of course. And let's hit enter. So that savings account making less than 1% or about 1% is going to make about $8.33. Now, of course, the average savings account is making less than 1%. So you're not even making $8. You might make $3 or $4. But I'm being very generous here. All right. So now let's look at this. What if you were to use a high yield interest savings account making about 4% interest? And I'm telling you this because many people want to find a quicker way to build up their emergency fund or their savings account. Well, put your money in a high yield interest savings account. And then let's say that high yield interest savings account is making 4% APY, annual percentage yield, for the year. Okay. So if we hit enter, now instead of making $100 estimate for the year, that $10,000 is making about $400. And so if we divide that by 12, instead of making $8.33 or less a month, now you're making $33.33. Of course, it's going to compound. So that first month, if you had $10,000 and now it's making $10,033.33, then it's going to be 4% interest or 3.8% interest. Whatever the interest is on that high yield account, it's going to compound. So now it'll be 4% estimate on that $10,033.33. So it'll be a little more each month as it builds. And so many people have, tons of money sitting around in a regular savings account. Some people don't have 10,000. They may have about 40,000. Once again, times 4% interest. Instead of making less than 1% on the year, they can make an extra $1,600. So now your savings account is building faster through that high yield. If you're not familiar with high yield interest savings accounts, I'll make sure I'll put one in the description box in the link. What if you made an extra $133 or $135 a month? What could you do with that money? That might help pay someone's light bill, water bill, or some other expense. So you never touch the $40,000, and you could just technically use the passive income that comes from it, the interest. So those are other creative ways to be able to pay bills. And so it doesn't matter where you are, you have to start somewhere, right? So don't be intimidated or worried or say, well, I don't have enough. You do. And whatever you have is good enough, and you have to start somewhere, but make this money work for you. Be aggressive about making your money multiply and making your money multitask. Once again, this is Coach Steele's Finance Training. Make sure you subscribe on my YouTube channel, Coach Steele's Finance Training. I do go live every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. I look forward to you tuning in. And once again, use this tool to build your emergency fund. Use this tool to build your 3 to 6 months worth of emergency fund. Someone making about $60,000, someone who has about $60,000 in their high yield interest savings account at 4%, that's going to be about $200 a month. That's $2,400 on the year divided by 12, $200 a month minimum, because It's going to be $200 a month minimum that you make in interest. So keep that in mind. That's just off of $60,000. Let me do that again real quick for you. Times 4%, 2,400 divided by 12, minimum $200 a month. And eventually it'll be more than that because of the compound interest. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can shoot me an email and make sure you subscribe. Coach Steele's Finance Training, where we make the complicated simple.